my perspective, from pretty much day one, I was determined to bend over to this process, and I didn't care what it was going to take. I was going to bend over to it, to absorb as much as I possibly could, and be prepared to change. And the result of bending over to this process was within the first week, I dropped 4 kilograms. I'd bought myself I'd stopped wearing tracky dacks around the house. I had a vision of myself and the sort of man that I wanted to become. By bending over to the process by week 2, my wife had already welcomed me back into conversation. And I was listening to her, and she said I'd listened to her for the first time in years.
Yeah, well done.
Just accepted that. By week 3, she'd actually given me a hug, and my behaviour previously had not even, I didn't really. It warranted me being, done with pretty much as far as my family and my relationship with my wife was, and by the end of week 3, and I sort of couldn't get enough of all of this content. So I'm at the end of week 7 and into week 8, although I'm really actually only should be at about week 4 by now. But I actually learnt how I was self-sabotaging. And I tell you what, if I didn't bend over to the process, there is absolutely no way I would have had some pretty profound moments of understanding myself, understanding my behaviours and what I had actually taken on for myself. I'll just read you out something that there's no way I would have been able to come to terms with before I'd bent over to this process. So I said, previously, I reduced intimacy to sexual gratification. I justified my engagement with porn, believing I deserved and needed gratification, and though I desperately preferred intimacy with my wife, when it was not an option, then porn was the next best option. My engagement with porn has led to my completely replacing a pursuit of intimacy with my wife to a pursuit of gratification. I did not even know the difference and had lied to myself that they were the one and the same, completely shortchanging myself and my wife of all that a truly intimate relationship has to offer. Now I understand, for me to engage with porn, I must believe that I'm actually not worthy of a wholly intimate relationship with my wife. But porn is a lie. I will no longer lie to myself. The man I am deserves better. I will no longer engage with porn, and I'll no longer pursue gratification because I deserve better. I deserve to be in a relationship in which I can offer and receive deep connection, overflowing feelings of love, desire, closeness, and oneness. I really, really, really enjoy giving and receiving kisses, touch, and sexual pleasure, but I deserve to be in a relationship where they are mutually given and received as an outpouring of a wholly intimate relationship. And so there's no way, if I didn't bend over to the process, that I would have come to that realization of the self-sabotage that was going on in my life. And now I'm 10 days clean of any of that behavior in relationship to porn. And I have not even a quiet confidence. Like, I'm telling you now, I'm not going back to that, because that's a behavior of my past. And I've got, out of bending over to the process, I've got a new identity. Yeah. I've got a new identity, and I'm determining what that identity is, and it is leveled up beyond what I imagined I could become.
Given
that you're going to do that, and given what Russell just said, I wonder whether there is, and I know we're probably running out of time, but I wonder whether there's value in reading out one of the other sort of journal notes that I have written previous to that, to my prior one, that because I just think it speaks about my delusion about who I was. So do you guys?
I want.
So this one, the one that I sort of read out before, was after I realized the self-sabotage. So this was pre-realizing the self-sabotage, but gee, it was an aha moment. And actually, like, Cody posted a video that had been recorded and to the private group, and it was about a 2-hour video. But afterwards, it gave me this aha moment. So I said, I've been living most of my adult life under the curse of my own behavior, mostly transgressions related to sexual gratification. I've not liked it, and at times I've noticeably not liked myself. But for the most part, I've simply concluded that all guys are like me, and we keep this part of ourselves private and hidden. Occasionally, I've been caught out and found wanting. I have assumed that it is just that my wife does not understand that all guys are like this. The rest of me, well, most of me, strives to live a righteous life, a good life, and to treat everyone else around me as best as I can. But what I did not realize, and this is my aha moment, is that whether or not my transgressions were hidden, they were shortchanging myself and of who I can and am supposed to be, and they are shortchanging and disrespecting everyone I love. They are behaviors, though, and they are not my identity. This whole time, I've actually been feeling crushed because I was convinced that I've been giving my wife and my kids all that I have, and yet I've been rejected, left unwanted, and undesirable. But the reality is, I have not given my whole self because I have not become my whole self, and I won't be able to while sexual transgressions are a part of my lifestyle or even a possibility. Further, the fact is what I have been doing is undesirable, and of course my wife would not want any part of me. She was actually discovering that I had accepted a way of living that falls well short of acceptable, and the rest of me is not enough to make up for it or for her to put up with, and fair enough. I'm becoming a man for whom sexual transgressions of my past are an impossibility of my future. It's what I deserve, and it's certainly what those I love deserve.
Wow. Well done.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, very. I'm pretty sure at some point I'm going to ask your permission to use that.
De-identify, sure.
That's powerful, man. It's poetically said.
Yeah,
nice. Very well said, Caleb. There's a